Yexamash, and welcome to this Borat video, or should I say Borat's subsequent movie film. Of course, this is the sequel to the original Borat Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan, released in 2006. And in my opinion, that was actually the highlight of Sacha Baron Cohen's career, as I've always found Borat's character, a character who first appeared on the Ali G show, absolutely hilarious and the best of Cohen's cohort of characters. But I have to say, Ali G is well overdue for a revival, especially because his movie was, and still is, absolutely hilarious. At the end of the first movie, Borat learned that chasing after Pamela Anderson was not what he was meant to do, and had a heartfelt message that you should find happiness with what you have and where you come from. Of course, he had a new hooker wife and a new iPod. However, in the wake of 2006 movie in real life, Borat was despised by a lot of people in Kazakhstan, but there were a few officials who thought at least it put the country on the map. And you can't deny that the country became a bit of a joke due to the movie, and the movie does acknowledge that and opens with it. Borat was put in a gulag work labour camp as he brought shame on Kazakhstan, and the country was laughed at around the world, which mirrors reality. However, he's brought out of this punishment as there's only one job that he can do. Borat is told that after the first movie, an evil man named Obama was elected and America was ruined. However, Donald Trump was elected and he's fixed the country and is part of the Strongman Club. This club being people such as Putin and Kim Jong-un. He needs to take the Minister of Culture, who is, as of always, an absolute monkey. In reality, he is a monkey, and the top porn star in Kazakhstan as a gift to Mike Pence so the Kazakh premier can join the Strongman's Club. Once again, he is off to America, but his family has disowned him, with his children being looked after by the neighbour he hates so much, and one of his kids even changed their name to Jeffrey Epstein, something I choked on my cereal when I heard that. He also has a daughter that he had no idea about, who is kept in a cell per the Kazakh tradition, and she dreams of being like Melania Trump as she is watching a Cinderella story, but in Kazakhstan it's all about Melania, which is a hilarious highlight throughout the movie, as it is a Disney Princess Melania meeting Prince Trumpy. She begs him to go to America and bag an old husband so she can be rich, but Borat declines due to his views on women, and he's got a task at hand. Now, in a mirror of his scene in the first movie of him going to America where he's applauded, he was booed as he left after being cleaned up and given injections, something that will play into the movie later. The problem is that he is nationally recognised in America and cannot go around doing his usual interviews, so he has to get a disguise. This is something that I did wonder about when I heard the movie would be made, because Borat is an absolute cultural icon, so you're not going to be able to get the whole gotcha style pranks. Now, while he waits for the monkey to arrive, he gets a phone which he thinks is a calculator and discovers internet porn. Now, I have to say, some of the sketches in this movie, they were very hit and miss. It was kind of obvious humour, something which I thought happened with Bruno, which I thought was a real bad movie. But finally, the monkey arrives. However, it's actually his daughter in the box, and she has eaten the culture minister. Now, he has to go to a store and fax the premiere and explain what happened, but they changed their plan to deliver his daughter, to Mike Pence, the Vice President of America, after he sees a news report on Jeffrey Epstein at Mar-a-Lago, as Trump says he likes beautiful women. That is now an infamous piece of footage. However, they need to make his daughter up, who I must remind you is 15, as she meets an Instagram sugar baby who explains she needs to be submissive to men, and they find a new cage for her to stay in. The fact that people go along with all this stuff is absolutely hilarious. They're just eager to sell stuff to this foreigner, and he even buys a cake with an anti-Semitic slogan on it, and his daughter has a cake that has a baby on it. It's blue, and I imagine it's a gender reveal cake. At least this cake isn't causing any wildfires. but she swallows the decorative baby and has to go to a clinic, and they describe, or at least they explain, that she has a baby inside her they need to get rid of. But this clinic is a very religious one, and even though the father put the baby in the child, yes, it's still against God to get rid of it. Absolutely hilarious, and I love the fact that they just sit there and let the people that they're kind of playing pranks on just talk and expose themselves there. It's very clever. Now, they also take her to a debutante ball, an event where young daughters are presented to the world as women and potentially meet future husbands. That's not at all creepy, is it? This is also Tutor can be presented to Mike Pence later, and the men even say she's worth a lot of money, which is creepy, and a father was even chastised by his own daughter there. Eventually they arrive at the CPAC, a conservative conference where Mike Pence earlier this year famously said that the US was ready for the virus. They weren't. Borat infiltrates it dressed in KKK robes, saying that he is Stephen Miller. It's fine, he's Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller being a senior advisor to Trump, and even dresses up as the grabber-in-chief as he tries to present Tutor, to which fails completely. And under the threat of execution, they have to pivot to present her to Rudy Giuliani after the Mike Pence plot failed. Now, I'll try to keep this politically neutral as possible, but what a turn Rudy Giuliani has had. I was 11 when the Twin Towers attack happened, and Rudy was a man who looked like he had his stuff together. Not only had he cleaned up New York, but he presented real leadership after a major crisis, but he's descended into being Trump's personal lawyer and attack dog, when I fully expected him to be president one day. You see some very weird turns as you age there. Rudy is known as a ladies' man, so they think delivering Tutor to him will get him in with Trump, and they go to get her some plastic surgery, as the surgeon says he would sleep with her. Again, she's 15, and he would know that, as it's illegal for surgery to be done on a child without parental consent. Now, while Borat is out earning cash for the surgery, he takes his daughter to a babysitter who tells her that ladies have freedom and the stuff she learned in the Kazakhstan Daughter's Handbook is absolutely incorrect. And after a women's meeting, she strikes it out on her own, leaving Borat, but he still has the looming execution over his head if he doesn't present her to the former New York mayor. Now, on his own, he learns that the Holocaust did happen as a nice interaction with a sweet lady in a synagogue, and I would have to say I would offer my condolences to her family there, as she has passed away in real life. Now, while this movie was going on, the coronavirus happened, and it's very interesting how this movie has started to pivot. And he goes and stays with some QAnon guys who, they're portrayed as QAnon nuts, but I thought they seemed like quite sweet guys, despite thinking that Hillary Clinton uses children's adrenal glands to regenerate. And he learns all about COVID-19 and what is going on in the wider world. But one day, while browsing QAnon news, he finds his daughter as a reporter, something she said she will do as she's now free. They come up with an elaborate plan to trap her at an anti-lockdown rally, and this was actually in the news for real and was a big story at the time. It was rumoured that Sasha put on the event himself as an entrapment, donating money to the organisation behind it. He dresses as a rock star and plays a song, baiting the crowd into singing along in wanting to inject the liberals with the Wuhan flu and chopping up journalists just like the Saudis did, a reference to Jamal Khashoggi's appalling murder. It works, and his daughter agrees to interview Rudy, leading to the explosive moment of him alone in his bedroom with his hands down his pants. However, meanwhile, Borat has actually had a change of mind and wants his daughter to live a free life. But Borat then goes cap in hand to the premiere, and he goes back to Kazakhstan, as it turns out that the coronavirus was spread by the premiere, and he wanted to get revenge on the world for laughing at them, as he injected him with it after making it from a bat and a pangolin in a lab. They were the injections he had at the start of the movie. Luckily, Borat had his calculator and FaceTime hooked up all this time, and this was recorded. Now he is disposed, and Kazakhstan is now free to open up to the world and influence elections, a reference to Russian bots there, and they now deem America as the enemy and swap the running of the Jew for the running of the American. He is now number 4 journalist, and his daughter is now number 3 journalist, in a heartfelt moment there, as she has followed in her father's footsteps. While the movie wasn't as outrageously funny as the original due to the gotcha pranks just cannot be done due to the character's status in the cultural lexicon, I did like the narrative sweeping through it, and the actress playing his daughter was absolutely superb, and superb in the role. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Please drop a like down below, please do subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.